Hi folks, hope you're okay today. I just want to talk about monasticism. Monasticism is a Christian movement that had three basic ideas. Those ideas were poverty, chastity, and obedience. A monk or a nun would spend time in prayer and work. The Opus Dei or divine office was the center of the source from which both the private prayer and the work drew their inspiration. A monk could do manual labor, and in later development of monasticism, there were copying of MS, teaching art, and a number of scholarly researches. In the Middle Ages, the monasteries were principally centers of academic learning. Um, it's probably one of the founders of monasticism was perhaps in Egypt, and if you get a chance to read Athanasius' Life of Saint Anthony, I would encourage you to do so. It's a wonderful piece of work. A number of monks after Saint Anthony began to flock to Gaul, Italy, and develop their own models. And there was a spread of monasticism by the 480 to 543. Saint Benedict threw in his lot and gave some detailed ways to live in the monastic way. And monasticism spread throughout Europe from that time on in a much more profound way. I think a couple of things really. I think you can't deny that the monks achieved a great deal of amazing things. I mean, they set up hospitals, they encouraged scholarship, they encouraged piety, generally speaking. Uh, I think that there is a danger in cutting yourself off from the world, because the Bible talks about we're in the world but not of the world, and so we have to get on in the world. And so there is a danger that we get cocooned if you become part of a monastery or get involved in that cocoon from the world. But I do think that the history of monasticism wasn't just about hiding away from the world. They did have hospitals. They did minister to people. Perspective, the way to minister to people is to be in the world and to be amongst people. And it's not that God hasn't used the monasteries. It isn't that God hasn't blessed the monasteries. But I think what's important to remember is that biblically, if you read the Sermon on the Mount, we're to go into the world and be shining lights, not retreat from the world. Having said that, it can be caricatured about the history of monasticism as if it was retreating from the world, and that's a caricature because the monasteries did a great deal of work for communities. Okay, that's just a little bit of thought on monasticism. I would encourage you to read Saint Anthony, The Life of Saint Anthony by Athanasius, and you will have a treat in store. Um, for listening, and God bless you.